Hi, everyone. This is Mother Tammy Fuqua from Holy Angels Catholic Church in Southern California, but I'm also a member of the advisory board to the Mary Magdalene Society. And I'm just carrying on what we have started with our Southern California churches. And now I have a new church here that we're going to be talking to, and that's Holy Trinity here in Southern California. And I have Maria Budgett here with me, and we're going to talk about their youth program. I have to say, I've seen some of the work in action, and I'm so excited to be talking to you and Maria. So why don't we go ahead and have you introduce yourself, and then we'll ask a few questions.
Sure. So my name is Maria Budgett, and I am currently the I don't know what you want to call it, the coordinator maybe at the for the youth group over at Holy Trinity, which is a part of the ECC.
Great. Well, Maria, you have received, I believe, two grants from Mary Magdalene Society. Has it been two, or has it
Correct.
just been one? Two.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought there was two, but I wanted to make sure. How have they helped you informing the youth group over the past year at Holy Trinity? And by the way, I have to just tell you, I love the name God is Great Youth Group. So give us some information on how those grants have helped start your youth group there.
Sure. So originally they started by, we were able, it facilitated us the being able to purchase, Bibles and journals and lesson plans for the kids. And then, we started fundraising and it allowed us to purchase other things that we would also need as well for the group, like we would do outdoor activities, but now we needed canopies and we needed lighting and we needed, different types of things. Um, so as far as, like for materials, that's how it pretty much helped us. We also purchased some chairs and, just other things that we needed as far as like supplies and stuff.
That's great. Yeah, it's kind of funny how that kind of steamrolled, right? It's like one thing leads into like, oh my gosh, I need this too. So it's great that it helped you. And sorry, my dog's going to start barking, so hopefully she doesn't bark too much here. So what made you want to get involved as the leader of the youth group at Holy Trinity and apply for this grant this year?
Originally, because this is my second year, but originally when I decided to apply for the grant was because I really saw the need. I mean, I would look at our church and the absence of the youth it baffled me,
Mhm.
And so I knew there was a great need. And so that's pretty much what got me into wanting to start the youth group.
Yeah, you have a large church and a large congregation, so it makes sense to want to do something like that. I completely understand. Uh,
Yes, and at our church, if you come into, because we have Sunday school, but only at the mass for the Sunday school will you see the youth. And other than that, I mean, you would probably see like maybe two or three kids at any given mass. And so I knew that there was a need for us to start something.
I think also when you start something, then the kids get involved, and then like they're the ones dragging their parents instead, right? Like sometimes we hear the opposite, where parents are dragging their kids to church, but then like they get involved in something like this, and then it's like, mom, dad, let's go, So
Yes.
that kind of has a reverse effect, right?
Yes, and it's funny that you say that because I also teach Sunday school.
Mhm.
So with our kids there at Sunday school, if you ask them why are you here, they're going to tell you it's because my parents brought me, right? I'm here
Yes.
because my parents want me to be here.
Hmm.
But when the kids come into our youth group and you ask them why are you here, it's because they want to be there. And so the parents actually come in and they say, well, you know what, thank you so much for having this. They really enjoy it and blah, blah, blah. And then that leads the kids that really enjoy it to bring their cousins and their friends. And so we're bringing more people to the church as well, to the communities. So I love that.
I love that too. I just love the idea of like you're building memories that will, not only just last a lifetime for them, but then will also like hopefully make that lasting impression that they want to stay with the church, which is like
Yeah,
really a hard thing right now for churches
yeah,
is to get kids involved and then stay involved.
yes. And
Yeah.
when I was growing up, I actually was part of a youth group. And I remember Father Tim, that was his name. He's the one who led it. And as of today, I still remember him. He was like a great mentor,
Yeah.
and just recently found out that he's still in that same parish. And I
Uh-huh.
was just talking with my husband that I want to go, go look for him and tell him, hey, now I'm running a youth group myself. And so, yeah,
Oh, I'm
it's,
sure he would love to hear that information, right? Like that he left a lasting impression on you.
yes, for
That's
sure.
awesome. So, you recently posted a video of the 1 year anniversary of your program. Can you tell me about some of the activities your group has done over this past year? Because the video was just amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, so I'll kind of give you some of the lessons that we've done with the kids. Um, some of those activities in the lessons have been like the walk, like when you have them all line up and they close their eyes and you ask questions like, how many of you guys play a sport? If you play a sport, step forward, right?
Mhm.
How many of you like math? If you do, take a step forward. And so anyway, you ask all these random questions, and at the end of the activity, you have them open their eyes and they get to see who they're lined up with the closest. And that's kind of like an icebreaker because now they know that there's other kids that are just like them, right? Or have gone through the same things as they have and stuff like that. So we've done like the walk and we've done um the lesson that they really, really enjoyed, which was the let go and let God. So you
Mhm.
basically explain to them about how when we pray for things, it doesn't necessarily mean that God's going to answer your prayers right away, right? It has to be in His timing, it has to be in His will, and they need to understand that. And
Mhm.
so we have them do an activity where they write down all their prayers and their needs on a balloon, and then we go outside and we release it to, like to heaven or to God. They really, really like that activity.
Yeah.
Um, we also had an activity where we purchased these mirrors, and so they're looking at themselves and they're writing down what they see. And some of them write, they see somebody who's strong, amazing, beautiful. And then you have other kids who are going through struggles and they'll say other things, right?
Mhm.
Um, like maybe I'm ugly or not worthy or what have you. And so because of these activities too, we've also have brought in like special guests. So we had somebody from come and talk to our kids about mental health, and all the avenues that's out there. We have also had special guests come over and talk to them about fentanyl.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've done CPR training for our kids. Um, well, that's just like among some of the things that we've had.
Yeah.
Um, one lesson that we're going to be giving it's coming up on the 27th of June, and a lot of kids seem to be really excited about is the science and faith.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to be
So,
learning about the Big Bang Theory, right?
yeah, I
Yeah,
that those are all amazing.
yeah, so those are some of those activities. We've had other things like we've gone to the Dodgers game, and then following the game, they had the Christian family night,
Mhm.
where they had, somebody, come and spread the word of God, and then they had Christian singers and stuff like that. It was really nice. We've taken them to the beach. We've done pool parties for them. We also have done activities where we feed the homeless. So we fed the homeless during Christmas and Thanksgiving. We also fed the community, and we sponsored a child. Um, we did the Christmas operation where you go and you put all these little goodies for the kids, and then they get shipped out. So we've
Wow.
done quite a bit with them. Um, we've also done like the movies, a lot of different field trips.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love all the variety of it. I mean, like, first of all, I think mental health is such a huge issue with teenagers right now. I A couple years ago I did a young adults retreat for young women, and the mental health is just such a crucial thing right now.
Is
Um, so I
huge.
think that's great that you provide those resources. But then I also like all your little fun activities too, because that builds the camaraderie and gets them to know each other.
Correct.
I have participated in that walk exercise before, and I learned so much about the people that I was doing it with because there were things that I was like, wait, I didn't know we had this in common. And
Right.
it allowed us to see that we had those little things in common, and some big things too. So
Yes.
that really does help. So I mean, those are some fantastic activities. I love to hear that you're able to manage that, because you're a pretty large group, right? I mean, about how many kids do you have in your group?
I think that it can be anywhere between like 15 to like 34, 36 kids that
See
come
that
in.
36,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
lot. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. You're able to manage it.
Yeah. Well, we have a,
Um,
it's not just me, right? Like I
yeah,
have other, I think I explained, or maybe not at the dinner that we had, right? At the
yeah.
dinner we had, that we have other leaders and stuff. And
Mhm.
so I think that's what makes it manageable, that we kind of all just kind of split. Because
Yeah.
when you're in an activity like the pumpkin, we had an activity where the kids painted a pumpkin.
Uh-huh.
And with all the paint going here and going there and asking for this and asking for that, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to manage without my other kids, my
No.
other.
And I just think about trying to take like 30 kids to a Dodger game. That's a feat. So,
Well, you know what?
um,
The Dodger game, it wasn't just our kids that we took. We also came with parents and stuff. So that made it easy for us. And it was a total of like 86 people that went from Holy Trinity over to the Dodger game.
that's great. I love all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so lastly, the last question I have is kind of wrapping around the ECC, which is our communion of churches. One of the objectives of the Mary Magdalene Society is to help grow the future of the ECC. How do you think your program helps not only Holy Trinity, but the growth of our communion of churches as well?
Well, when I started the youth program, uh, when we had some of the leaders that actually came to join me, I had two of them who were also teaching Sunday school.
Okay.
And now I have four of them who are actually teaching Sunday school. And all of my leaders are right now currently being, if they're not teaching, they're actually being the teacher's helper. And then I have from our same kids that come to the youth group. I have a couple of them who are now like altar boys. Some of them have joined the uh the choir,
Mhm.
because then we have two choirs. We have one for the little ones and then one for the youth.
Mhm.
So there's two different choirs and they're coming for that. And I have a couple of them who are interested in actually learning how to become a Sunday school teacher. So I feel that by bringing them together, I sort of feel like this. I feel like all of the kids that have come through Holy Trinity or the ECC, like they knew there was a God. They have heard that there was a God, but they never really knew who he was. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And I
Yeah.
kind of feel like now there's that connection where they have like a personal relationship with him, and they now
Mhm.
know that he's like their Lord and Savior, and they now feel like they have to go out there and be a disciple. And so I feel that by them coming and us being able to nurture them that way and telling them, showing them how great God really is, that's what makes them want to go out there and spread his word.
Yeah.
And that's what they're inviting their cousins and their friends. And I even have a mother of one of the kids that comes that said, you know what, I would be interested in teaching Sunday school because I think that what you guys are doing here is great. So I think that that's how my youth group is actually helping the ECC by us preparing these younger kids to be our future leaders in the church.
Absolutely. I mean, all of those things are definitely testimonials to like how their spiritual growth could help the
Absolutely.
union. And also just by like your experiences of growing this youth group would be able to be shared amongst the different churches that are trying to grow youth groups, because your experience is going to help another church maybe, you know, provide a youth group for their church that maybe they don't have yet. So I think that the growth is definitely important, for our diocese and for the communion of churches. So I love hearing that they're wanting to get more involved in not just the youth group, but other aspects of life at Holy Trinity. So that's absolutely wonderful.
It is. It
Yeah.
really is. It's a blessing.
Yeah, it must be great to kind of see their growth, right? I
Oh yeah,
mean,
that's what's rewarding. That's why I do. That's what I tell my husband. This is why I do this job. I had a little girl that sent me a message the other day telling me, Miss Budget, when you invited me to come to the youth group, I was kind of adamant about it because I didn't even want to go to church anymore. There were certain things happening in my life where, she didn't she was disappointed, right? She was
yeah,
blaming it on God. And she said, and then I started coming, and then I started learning that, things always happen for a purpose, you know? And she says, and anyhow, I just want to thank you because now I love coming to the church and I love coming to the youth group. And I want to thank you. You're like my angel. And I tell my husband, this is why I do this because it is so rewarding. I mean, I do it because, of course, all the glory to God, but it's
yeah,
so rewarding when you know that your goal is to try to get people, right, the kids closer to God and stuff, and that if you can save at least just one, then you've done what your purpose was.
yeah. It it's like I feel like it's rewarding probably to get that affirmation that all the hard work is actually, coming from God through you to them, and then they're mirroring it back to you. Like, look how much growth I've had,
Yes,
and how I went from, I don't really want to be here to like this is I feel a place or a purpose. I think that
that
that's amazing.
it is absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else we want to talk about before we wrap things up? I mean, I think we
Well,
covered a bit, but do you have anything else you want to share?
I just want to thank the Magdalene Society for actually giving us the grant. Uh, this year we celebrated our 1 year anniversary, and it was kind of like last minute. It was just with, like the youth group and some of their parents. But next year, I'm going to do some fundraising, and I plan on inviting the ECC so that they can come, uh, and celebrate with us, and of course the Magdalene Society as well, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. And we have all grown, not just the kids, but it's what it's done for me too, because I'm growing along with them spiritually, and I just love it, and I thank you for that.
That is so great. I mean, like, I think some of the times we've had conversations together about the youth group, I've just been so excited to see its growth, and it feels like something that's been around longer than a year, but like I mean, to see how much you've done in 1 year is remarkable. So
Thank you.
kudos to you for all of that hard work, for you and your team that have put this together, because it definitely is something that will be rewarding for our communion, and that's why you were a recipient this year. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
That's so great. Well, thank you so much, Maria, for taking some time to talk with me. And this will be something that will be shared within the ECC's newsletters. So next time I'll be going east from California and getting a few other communities within the communion. So stay tuned for that. But thank you, Maria, for your time. And thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks.